Well, I think we can wrap up this week with a quick aesthetics.
Oh God, really?
Well, it was big news in Detroit, and it's going to be big news in Chicago eventually. But
The D is gone?
no, the Detroit Tigers announced and revealed
Oh, yes.
an advertising patch on their left sleeve. We've seen it a little bit across Major League Baseball. Really executed poorly, I think, in most cases. I think the Astros have an enormous weird ass patch. I don't even know what the brand is, but
It says like meth or something on
yeah,
it. It's
it
weird.
looks it clashes with the uniform for sure. The Mets are in a similar situation with some bank, I think. Just an ugly logo, ugly patch. It just doesn't work. The Padres, they have a Motorola, huge Motorola. They call it the Bat Wings. Their M logo, it looks like bat wings. That one's obnoxious. The Tigers actually, I think, did a really good job with this.
You barely notice it.
It was, yeah, exactly. It was huge news in Detroit. Of course, I brought this up many times. The home, the very clean home uniform for the Detroit Tigers is sacred in the state of Michigan because it is so simple. It is perfection, I would say. It has also been the same uniform they've had for over 100 years, pretty much. It has remained unchanged. I went on a rant. I think maybe the first aesthetics we ever had. I went on a diatribe about the Nike logo appearing on
Yeah.
all 30 major league uniforms,
Yikes.
and how I
Yeah.
didn't really have a problem with it anywhere except for the Detroit uniform, which was so clean and pristine and void of elements other than the logo on the chest that the Nike logo is defiling it essentially. But of course, every uniform has that now, so you kind of don't see it anymore. But this Meyer logo on the left sleeve is even less noticeable than the Nike logo on the chest. It is small for one thing, which is great. They changed the Meyer logo color to Detroit's dark navy, which is
Yes.
another great move. The Meyer logo is red with blue dots over the I and J. So for them to agree to change their branding to flow in nicely with the Tigers is really remarkable, and I think it's great. And literally, people were really up in arms when it was announced, and it was kind of, I don't remember any previous announcement that it was coming. Like all of a sudden, the Tigers just released it on their website with some corny video about how a grocery store chain is integral to the fabric of the Detroit Tigers culture in the state of Michigan,
Mm.
and which that kind of horse shit we love to make fun of when we go over the Nike City
Oh
Connect
God.
uniforms and other shit.
Yeah.
But the way they executed, I really don't have a problem with, and I don't think anyone's brought it up since the first day. I mean, people
I
people had trouble just with the idea of it, but now you wouldn't even notice.
I mean, I basically thought it was like when in the natural when they sewed on the lightning patch. They won
Yeah,
3 out of 4 from the White Sox. I mean, it
there we
was
go.
giving them fucking power like the lightning bolt.
The power of Meyer. I
Yeah.
don't. There are Meyer stores in Illinois, but are you familiar with Meyer at all?
Yeah, oh, yeah, I shop at Meyer
Okay.
sometimes.
I think it's more. It must be out in the suburbs, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's in the burbs.
I
It's
didn't
nothing
notice it
in the
hardly in
city
my.
proper.
Okay. I grew up like Meyer was a staple of mid Michigan at least. I mean, there's two Meyers within 5 miles of my house right now. They're all over the place. So I always thought of it as a Michigan brand, so that's kind of cool. Just that it doesn't feel like some faceless corporate entity that just dropped in and started paying the Tigers for it. I, the other part of it is I heard the point made that they're probably going to make the estimate is probably about $10 million for this patch. The
Mhm.
Tigers are going to rake in. I don't know if that's per year or what that estimate was, but the argument would be made, if people are really up in arms about this, why don't we start up a GoFundMe to raise $10 million for them not to put the patch on?
Yeah, exactly. I
So
mean,
if people are really that upset about it, put your money where your mouth is. But really, that,
it's
like I said, it's died down quickly. So
it's the most tasteful patch I've seen thus far.
it does beg the question, as now that Pandora's box has been opened, and we will be seeing, I guarantee, logos on both the White Sox and Cubs. What do you think those brands might actually end up being, and how could they? What would you, if you know it has to happen? Is there a brand you would like to see over others, or is there something that you wouldn't want to see on a White
Uh,
Sox uniform? I'm kind of springing this on you, so it might. Might not
Yeah,
be
I
easy
wouldn't
to
wanna
answer right
see the
away.
guaranteed rate logo with the arrow pointing down. That's already prominent enough in the
Yeah,
stadium.
I don't think I've seen an example of that where the stadium sponsor is also the
Yeah.
uniform sponsor, so I think they diversify a little bit more than that, so I don't think you have to worry about that, but you never know. I think that could be
The ultimate would be to have Riccobene's be the sponsor, but they probably can't afford it. But that's the Italian steak sandwich shop
I was
in
wondering if
the
you're gonna
heart of
go
Bridgeport. That would be the ultimate.
I thought you might go hyper local like that, but they might
Yeah,
not have the
but
advertising budget for it.
no, they probably don't. But I would say I really feel like one of these two is really the most fitting patches, and it would be a Miller Lite patch. I
That's
hate to
interesting.
say it, but it's true. Like it's they were only out of the park for like what 4 years maybe before they bullied their way back in, and it's fine. It's like how it's supposed to be to me. That's what I grew up with.
I
It,
might be corrected wrong, but I believe beer sponsors are not allowed on the uniform.
all right.
I think that's one category that might be we talked about it, when this first came up. This might have been 2 years ago where the idea
Okay.
that patches were coming, but so you
I
might
have
not be able to get Miller Lite on there.
Vienna beef would be the other one.
That would be
Everyone goes to the
tremendous.
park for the Polishes and the hot dogs. The line's always long. Everyone loves it. Put the fucking Vienna beef on there. I mean, come on.
That'd be great. I think they're probably gonna go a little bit bigger corporate than that, but the Vienna beef would be fantastic. I think the cool thing with the White Sox is it wouldn't be hard for any corporate brand to say you can use our black and white version of the logo to go with the Sox colors.
Right,
I think
exactly. Everyone has one. So
I think if they are able to do that, I think any corporate logo would look pretty good is in your team colors already. So again, that's part of why the Tigers and Meyer combination works so well. So for the Cubs, I think it's pretty obvious who's coming to the sleeve patch near you.
bison dogs?
Actually, it's ironic because the Cubs have, at least until recently, they've always had patches on both sleeves. They've had the Cubs C logo with a bear stomping around in it,
Oh
and
yeah.
then they've had the National League logo on the other arm. And that has conspicuously been absent for the last couple seasons, I think in anticipation of this advertisement. But I think you're going to see the home sponsor of their spring training facility, Sloan, uh, be on the sleeves. And the best part is Sloan is the automatic toilet manufacturers where they flush themselves.
Yes.
They're a toilet and plumbing company, which I think would be fucking hilarious to see on the sleeve of the Cubs. But I don't know.
It'd
I
be
don't,
funny on any baseball team, to be honest. I mean,
there's something that just feels like because
yeah,
they're probably looking to get more exposure with the Cubs themselves, other than just their spring training facility.
right.
You hear ads for them all the time on Cubs radio, at least, but I think I could see them trying to get a larger footprint. Them or some hedge fund or some financial institution that the Cubs seem to be in bed with. That I think those would make sense, or at least that's probably something that would be coming. I'm not sure I'd be fired up about any of those, but
All I can say is there's one sponsor that is. I know they're in the White Sox. I haven't been to a Cubs game this year, so I don't know if they have any coverage in there. But I don't want he gets us patches on my fucking team's jersey.
I did notice those. I think this week against the Angels, the White Sox game, he gets us all over the place in that stadium, and I noticed it when we were at the ball game last month.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
lots
they
of
they they got a lot of they must have a lot of money because they advertise on TV during the games too.
Jesus isn't poor. Let's put it that way. The Christians have some cash to throw
Yeah.
around there
So
to spread their
let's
message.
I'd also think it's probably I bet in the rules they probably wouldn't allow if they're not I get not allowing beer because I feel like they think everyone would just have a beer patch then because there's so much money there.
Right.
Like in the alcohol industry, like everyone would just have some sort of alcohol. But I also would hope they would dismiss any sort of like religious
I
or
I mean, the White Sox
or
are letting it in the ballpark already. So again, I mean,
I
The
I
irony
I
is everyone holds the baseball uniform sacred, but could you have a religious patch on that sacred uniform?
no.
I think it would definitely be a conversation piece, and he gets us would get that much more publicity than they already are getting, so we're giving them. So I don't know. I'd be interested to see how that turns out. They've got g I their ads were all over the place in the game I was watching the other night, so they're like the colors are black, white, and, like, fluorescent green, I think.
You're like yellow, yeah.
Is it yellow? Okay,
Yeah.
maybe I was looking at that wrong, but
But
I was thinking that might be the same colors as Southpaw, your mascot there, so
he's
there might be
he's
some
Jesus.
synergy.
He is Christ. Southpaw is Christ. But yeah,
We're
he gets us his God. They must be out of here because I was I at the United Center for a concert and I saw their shit up there too, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I can't get away from them.
Well, I thought that was at least worth bringing up as we
Yes.
do a now weekly aesthetics segment, and it was
So,
certainly news in Detroit when it happened, and it's going to be news one way or the other in
you,
Chicago.
you did spark a memory of mine of something I sent you earlier this week. So, and this is along the same lines, but Smitty mentioned how we like to make fun of the Nike Connect and their long explanations of what everything means on the jersey. I'm quite fearful as I text Smitty that they have created a monster within the sports fashion industry because I sent him an ad that New Era has decided to put out of the Father's Day cap that, like Nike Connect,
Oh,
explains every detail, which is only three, but had to take the time to explain the three details on a cap, and they have done it for every team. This has not happened before.
Father's Day needs an explanation. Like,
Yeah,
do we
well,
not understand?
and it was reminiscent of like weird shit, just like there's blue under the cap, like under the brim of the cap.
Which is everyone knows that's prostate awareness
Yes,
colors,
yes,
prostate
they
cancer
pointed out
aware
there's
prostate
three.
cancer awareness.
The Sox logo is
Be
in
aware of the
blue.
prostate.
Sox logo is in blue to represent Father's Day. No shit. Thank you.
There's people getting paid lots of cash at Nike over there to
Is
write those explanations.
Well, no,
So,
but then I'm thinking like it's over at New Era. They're like, oh man, we got to piggyback on this Nike shit.
oh, at New Era, you're right.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Let's do these. Let's start explaining our hats to everyone.
You and I are mocking this. I see those explanations mocked everywhere on social media. I'm not sure who's really into it, so I don't know where this is
Yeah,
coming
where's
from
the
or why
data's
this.
coming to do it?
Maybe there's a group that absolutely loves this. The silent majority absolutely loves these explanations. Maybe we're just off base and too tuned into Twitter and the snarkiness there. But well, I guess we'll see if these continue.
Word Hole Media.